Hey, what's up guys? Rod here. Just wanted to do this quick video and show you what I'm doing with these RC trucks, Axial SCX24s, which I've had about a month now and been just really enjoying them. And I've learned so many things online. I want to give a shout out to the channels out there that are giving all sorts of great advice. 2FMRC, thank you Matt, and TJ the RC guy. RC After Dark, you know, definitely learned so many great things from these guys. Appreciate all of it. Anyway, so I got myself the Jeep, the JL here, and also the C10, Chevy C10. Anyway, so I just wanted to go over the mods that I've done to my trucks, guys. Basically free mods, very low budget, just a couple things that I've done to the Jeep, and a little bit more on the C10 for those of you who might have these trucks and just looking to increase performance. So on the Jeep and the C10, I started off with basically two really important mods. I put wheel weights in all four wheels, and I glued the Servo Saver here, and got that instructional from Matt over at 2FMRC, and he has a great video showing you how to do that. But you just glue that Servo Saver on the tip there, and that was pretty easy to do. It was a little hard to find the spring. The spring was stuck in the screw at first, but it was just in there. And then as far as the wheel weights, I went with the full send. I think it's 9.5 gram wheel weights on these, and I just wanted to put a little bit of info out there. For me, on the Jeep stock tires and wheels, it was difficult to get these to go in. I did have to hammer them quite a bit, and I used like a socket to line it up and a piece of wood, and really had to hammer them to get them to go into the wheels there. I don't know if you could see that there on the camera. Got those wheel weights in there. And then also, once I had them installed, I had to go in, and the wheels were rubbing on the steering linkage here, and it was basically disabling the vehicle. It was so significant. I was really surprised at that, but I did have to go in. I don't know if you could see it on the camera, guys, but I had to grind away with the Dremel tool some of the steering linkage here, so that it would clear where the weight sticks out. And I know that I had the weights recessed in the wheel as far as it possibly could go. So just a heads up there, anybody decides to go with these full send wheel weights, if you use them on stock wheels, you may have a difficulty getting them in, but they will go in, and you might need to grind down carefully the steering linkages if you use the stock linkages on the Jeep. And a couple other mods I've done on both of them. I put grease inside of these shocks here. These shocks come apart pretty easy, and I put a little bit of grease, and they just kind of unscrew. I took the screws out, and I used some fishing reel grease here, Penn fishing reel grease. It's kind of dyed blue, which is kind of cool because you could see where it's still applied after you apply it. And I also flipped the there's a little ring here on the shock. You can see there's a little plastic ring that comes off, and I flipped that upside down, and gives you like a couple millimeters of preload and a little bit of lift. I also lightly stretched out the springs on these shocks. The other thing I did is I put grease in the differentials, both the front and the rear differentials. These open up, these differential pumpkins, these come right off, and you could put grease in there. And it did seem like there was a little bit of grease, but it just kind of felt good to put a little bit more, good quality grease in there to make sure everything's nice and lubricated. And then I will say, if you decide to do that, there's a bearing that sits in the back in the actual cover, and you kind of have to make sure that that doesn't get lost and that it goes on right. But it's pretty easy mod. Anyway, so basically with the wheel weights and a glued Servo Saver, really dramatically increased the performance and the capability of the vehicle, staying, you know, on its wheels and being able to climb, and it's just pretty awesome, actually. Super happy with the Jeep. I mean, very minimal. Those wheel weights cost me, I think it's a total about 16, 70 bucks, and everything else was pretty much free mods on that one. Now with my C10 here, oh, and then the other thing that I've done with the stock tires is I put WD-40 on the tires. You can apply WD-40 with like a paintbrush, or you can just spray it on, whatever, and that does seem to help soften and improve grip of the tires. And I've already done it a couple times with these stock Nitto tires here, and it does seem to help, just help them to be a little bit more grippy. As far as my C10 goes, I had all the same mods on my C10, but wasn't happy with the stock tires. They just seemed to wear, the treads seemed to be wearing out and was just pretty minimal, and they were actually really squishy. So I pulled the trigger and I got some new wheels. These are the Treal wheels that are on Amazon. I don't have the model number, but they just look super awesome. Super happy with them. And then I've got the RC four-wheel drive. These are the BF Goodwrench KM3 Mud Train KM3 tires, and you can see those there. But first, what I did with the C10 is I removed the bumpers, both the rear bumper, removed that, and the front bumper. Just took it completely off. If you could see there, it comes completely off, and that's been an awesome improvement to improve the approach and departure angles. And then I did want to mention, at first I wanted to try and mount the new tires on the stock wheels, and I followed some advice. I had heard to boil the wheels to be able to remove the stock tires, and I just want to let you all know that that did not work for me. These stock wheels, these method wheels, they warped severely from boiling them for like a half an hour to try to get them tires off. It just it didn't work. So I'm going to show you how warped that is. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but you can see the whole sizes where it's really just warped, completely destroyed it. So definitely not something you probably want to try. Letting you all know with the boiling, trying to get the stock tires off. So basically, if you want new tires on the stock wheels, you just got to get new wheels, I guess. So that's what I did. But I'm super happy with these Treal wheels. It looks really, really nice. Very happy. And now let me tell you, when I put these on, there's quite a bit of body rub on these new tires. Are slightly bigger than the stock ones that are on there by like a couple millimeters, 1 or 2 millimeters, but it increases the body rub because you know Axial had these trucks engineered so that they're just, I mean, just barely no body rub on those stock tires. So if you go even a little bit bigger, you're going to find body rub. So I wanted to share what I did to basically trim the body to eliminate that wheel rub, because I thought that what I did worked out really well. I'm pretty happy. I'm just going to show you. You could see the cutting that I did on that body. You could see, I'll show you the wheel wells there, the front and the rear, and then I also trimmed the back here a little bit. You can see that. I trimmed this back corner flange that was kind of sticking down, so the low hanging parts of this body that were hitting the rocks, I really just trimmed those. Also in the front where it was hanging down, right here, I trimmed that. But let me tell you how I did it. So I don't have a pair of lick sand scissors, so I just use a Dremel tool. So you have a Dremel tool. A couple things I used for the wheel wells. This little sanding wheel right here. See that? If you got one of those, this worked really well at removing the material to basically trim the body of the wheel wells to where I wanted it to be, and I was able to have a lot of control, make it look really smooth with this. And then I followed up with finished it with basically just with some sandpaper wrapped around a thick dowel like this, and I was able to smooth it out really good and everything. So that worked pretty well to trim the body. Just a little tip there. And then Other thing is to make like straight cuts on cutting these corners flat and the back where it was kind of goofy after you take the bumper off. What I used is, instead of a Lexan scissors, I use this little saw blade Dremel tool attachment. I don't know if you can see that there, but it's a little saw blade, and that sucker worked really good to be able to just make nice clean cuts on that. So these little saw blades, this one's like Gyros brand. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. But I forgot to mention on the Treal wheels, guys, I was something really surprised and kind of disappointed, but I was able to solve a problem. Is when I put these Treal wheels on the stock C10 truck here, with all the stock axles and everything, they actually were loose. They do not tighten up completely on those hexes on the wheels that come with the truck. They were rattling. You could see it was loose. And anyway, so luckily I happened to have some little washers, tiny little washers, and you can see that washer in there. So if you're gonna have, like I did with these Treal wheels and a stock setup, you're gonna need a washer to get that to be tight. I think, or some other, unless you have like aftermarket hexes or those millstone weights in there, maybe that makes it fit better. But just a heads up on that, guys. So the Treal, hopefully, you know, if you see this, definitely maybe include some washers in your package for folks who have a stock setup and want to use those wheels. But otherwise, they look fantastic. I mean, super stoked. And just want to mention that the performance of these RC four-wheel drive tires, it was just amazing. Put some videos out there running these on my home backyard course, and for you guys in, so you could see. But definitely more traction with these tires is amazing. I mean, these are like so sticky and soft. These BFG KM3s. It's just really amazing if the first time you use these RC four-wheel drive tires, see how sticky they are, and just the traction improvements. But overall, just everything, those mods, the Servo Saver, and with these wheels like these wheels, I think they weigh, was it 11.5 grams? So you don't need wheel weights if you want to get the same amount of weight as a stock wheel with the wheel weight. The new wheels provide that same amount of weight. So basically, I'm pretty happy with the amount of weight I got up front. I like to keep a light setup for now because I don't really want to change the motor soon. I want to just enjoy them for a while, and then I'll start upgrading, getting fancy like y'all's. What else? Oh, another thing I wanted to share, guys, just a little tip. I love taking videos of the trucks running, and I found a way where I was able to mount an iPhone on top of, or any camera, on top of the transmitter. So I'm going to show you what I did there. So you guys see that little adapter up there? That's a universal camera screw thingy. Anyway, you could pick these little mounts, the little screw, universal camera mount, on Amazon. It's like a couple bucks, and package of these, but they're real handy if you want to video stuff. And what I was able to do is I was able to drill a hole in the top of the transmitter here. Very carefully, put some masking tape down and actually hit it with a Dremel, a pointy Dremel tool to start the hole so you don't crack the plastic, and then just carefully get it big enough, and then where you could start to thread these in, and then it'll tighten down, and then I just super glue, and it threads in, tightens down, and it's not going anywhere. Got to use a couple washers, and if you've seen these little iPhone mounts that have the camera screw a socket on there, and then you could clip your phone in, like right there. And so you can actually use my iPhone to film running the trucks that way. Super cool. I mean, just thought I'd share that with you guys. Anyways, sorry, it's my first video, guys, of benchtop stuff. I'm going to continue to put up more videos of my trucks running, and these things are so cool, these Axial SCX24s. Thanks, guys, for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care.